Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. I am Eve Richards. We've got a very special show today, so please make sure you watch this episode on the Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube channel, or you can listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. I am so excited to be hosting today with the one and only Tyrone DuBose. French, but I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Tyrone is a voice artist. He's an actor, television contributor. He is a 5-time R&B historian. He has done it all. So I couldn't be more proud that he accepted to host with me today. Tyrone, welcome.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here. And the cool thing about being here at your podcast is that we are provided water. So if in the event I am slightly parched, I am able to sit and go over here. So it's so cool. So you know you've moved up when you get a little water somewhere. So I thank you so very much. It's good.
You are so funny. It's so great to have you here.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Of course. So Tyrone, tell our listeners something about you.
Well, I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I moved out here with the intention of being a baseball player, or so I thought, only to discover that Casey Kasem, who mentored me, taught me about the R&B and pop charts, and then I decided to become a R&B historian for TV One's Unsung. I was recently inducted into the California Music Hall of Fame this year, and recently won a Hollywood African Prestigious Award for my television show. So
wow, congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic on all the accolades. So is there anything that you're sort of working on that you would like us to know about?
I recently, and within the last 24 hours, I have, I guess I'll announce it here, is that I'm going to be doing a show on Sirius XM starting in February.
Wow.
And it's going to be based on the R&B history.
Oh my goodness, that's congratulations, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow, you are such a busy guy. Like, do you have time? Oh my God.
Well, there's 1,440 minutes in a day, so I will make the time to do everything we want. We all do.
That's wonderful. It is so good to have you. And it's such a great segue into our guest today, Olivia Rush. Olivia, we are so fortunate to have her with us today. Her story is as powerful as her movement on stage. Olivia, known to many as Sunshine, has turned a life marked by trauma and challenge into a beacon of hope for others. A professional dancer, she's a model and a philanthropist. Olivia's passion for dance began when she was just three. Wow. However, she suffered a brain injury at 14 due to bullying. Yeah. And her mother was the one inspiration who sort of helped her. And Olivia is here to share her inspirational story. Olivia, welcome. It's so good to have you here with us today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and it's an honor to be on your podcast.
Olivia, so dance has been a powerful outlet for you since you were a child. After everything that you've been through, what does dance represent to you now, compared to when you fell in love with it?
Dance is still the same thing I fell in love with. It's always been my outlet and my safe space, and I think it gets hard as we come into this industry to not let it overwhelm us and consume in the wrong ways, but at the end of the day, when you come back to the love of it, that's all you really need.
Do you have a big fear at this point as far as dancing is concerned? What made you decide to make the switch of dancing for a personal aspect and change it into a professional aspect?
So it wasn't really my decision, technically. After my head injury, I had gone through over a year of extensive different therapies, cognitive, physical therapy, vision therapy, speech therapy, literally anything you can think of. And I made minimal to no progress.
Wow.
So after about a year, they were teaching me coping mechanisms, and they told my mom, she's as good as she's going to get. And my mom was like, you're not going to tell me that my 15-year-old is going to be like this for the rest of her life. So that's why when she kind of forced me back into dance, and it was really hard.
Did you want to do it?
I wanted to do it. Like, dance was the thing that kept me going, but I had lost all of my, like, hope. I was very discouraged. I was in a very low place. And it was very hard to go back to dance because I suffered from constant vertigo and migraines. I would literally be in rehearsal. I'd have to go to the bathroom, throw up, and go back.
God.
So it was brutal, but ultimately it ended up being the thing that saved my life. Like, I don't know where I would be right now without dance. And it took me about a year to get back to what I would call my new normal. And then I was assisting a small dance convention from my hometown called Wind Up Dance Tour. And they brought me out here to LA. I was just taking class. I got scouted and signed.
Wow.
And then I kind of just got thrown into the industry at 15. Yeah.
That's incredible. So you talked about being bullied. How has that experience, like, looking at where you were as a child, and what would be your advice to other young artists as well going through similar experiences that you went through?
Yeah. There's a few things, of course. I would always say, use your voice, make sure to get help. I know it can feel like people don't care, or like it can be scary, or you're a snitch, or whatever the fear is, but ultimately at the end of the day, your safety and well-being is priority, and that's what you have to put first. And I'm sorry, what was the...
And just in terms of your advice for any young artists going through similar experiences that you...
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. My advice would be to know that it doesn't really have to do with you. Most of the time how people treat you is a projection of how they feel about themselves. So I'm so sorry. They are like that because they see something in you that they don't have.
Wow.
You mentioned about health and wellness, which is something that for a long time we never discussed very often. Tell me about the mental health and wellness of you as you were climbing to get yourself back to a state of normalcy.
Yeah, I'm a very big advocate for therapy. My therapist, that is my girl. Like,
Yes.
she has been there. I think just make sure you're taking the right steps to, exercise, put yourself in the right environments around the right people. And journaling has helped me a lot. Just kind of communicating, like, with my friends and being more open and vulnerable,
Wow.
or people that I trusted. I was very internalized after the bullying because I was just afraid to just show me and who I am. So when I got to the point where I was actually able to start opening up to people and sharing my story is when I really felt myself changing.
That's so powerful. I'm going to go back to that same question about therapy because it's something that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
But therapy to me, I think is very helpful, right? So in terms of, I think also it's about relationship building and trusting someone, having someone that you feel like you can really connect with. And to me, there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. I think it's wonderful if you can do it. So what would be your advice for anyone struggling with any type of issues? Would you advise them to seek professional help just based on your experiences as well?
Yes, honestly, I would. I feel like me personally, I'm someone who, I'm very stubborn. So I'm like, I can handle it. I'm going to be fine. Ultimately, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And I think something that discourages people when they try to go to therapy is if they don't have a connection with their therapist right away. And it's not, just working. And I believe that you have to, like, date your therapist, honestly.
Yes.
And I had gone through many therapists before I ended up with the one that I'm with now. And I've been with her for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Take us back to the first time when you were discovered or when someone casted you into something. Take me back to that day.
My first big job was a music video or a halftime show for Lil Wayne. We shot it in his hometown in New Orleans. I remember I was cleaning my room. It was like midnight, I think, 11 p.m. I get a call from my mentor, Eddie Morales, and he's like, hey, where are you? And I'm like, at home? And he's like, can you be in New Orleans tomorrow morning? And I was like, yes. And he was like, okay, great. You're doing Lil Wayne. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's dope. In that process, I was 17.
Wow.
So that was like, I was just kind of in awe, like taking everything in. It was just really a surreal experience. I don't know how many people get to say they dance for Lil Wayne. And, you know.
That's fantastic. So talk about your mom. Your mom seems to be that one person who's been a major, very inspirational in your life from the time that you suffered the brain injury. Tell us about your relationship with your mom today.
Yeah. My mom has been my backbone. You know, I feel like I get a lot of my personality from her, my work ethic, and just how I carry myself as a person. She instilled a lot of the right things in me at a very young age. She is one of the most giving, loving, compassionate, understanding people you'll ever meet. And, you know, from a young age, she set an example of helping others and being there for those that needed it. And that, you know, has helped guide me into what I do today.
Is there something new that you discovered about yourself?
That's a good
one. Recently or from this?
Just in general.
Well, that's a hard question because I feel like I'm really self-aware, sometimes a little too self-aware. So that's a wide variety of things. But something I have discovered about myself throughout this whole process is I believe everything happens for a reason, truly. And I feel like I struggled for a long time trying to make sense or justify what I went through and what happened to me. And when I first shared my story and I had people reaching out to me, telling me that it inspired them, asking for advice and all these things, I started mentoring people through Instagram.
Wow.
And that is when I went to my mom and I was like, I get it. Like, this is why it happened. And I truly believe that one of my core purposes here in this lifetime is helping others from my experiences.
That's incredible. So I'm going to jump into something more upbeat, you know, with the holiday season fast approaching. I don't know when this is going to air, but how do you celebrate the holidays?
I'm a Christmas fanatic. I had my tree up before Halloween.
Wow.
I'm really sorry.
Like
y'all.
Home Depot does, like after Labor Day.
Exactly. Hey, it was sitting in a box, and I was like, this box is ugly. I'm putting up my tree. So, yeah, I definitely go hardcore for Christmas back home. Like, I have so many decorations. I wish I could ship them out here.
You mean back in New York?
Yeah, back home. So I'm like, I wish I had more out here in LA right now. So we're building it. But we at least got the tree. We got some ornaments, a star, you know, we're getting there.
What was your best Christmas?
My best Christmas would have to be one probably when I was younger with my grandparents at their old house.
Oh.
They always made Christmas super special. We had our living room would be like doors closed off. So like on Christmas morning, you like couldn't go in the room and see what Santa did. But my grandma would always sneak us downstairs to look in the room before my mom came down. And then she would let us go back upstairs. And then my grandpa would always start like paper ball fights. And it was just something that we always did that I loved. Yeah.
That's incredible. So tell us about some of the things that you're currently working on.
Yeah, so I actually have an event coming up on November 7th.
Oh, December 7th.
December 7th.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, December 7th. And I'm making bags for the homeless. This is something that I have started doing in New York years ago, and I just started. My first year was in LA last year. I did it by myself in my apartment that I was renting. But this year I thought it would be fun to make it more of like a community thing. So I have an Amazon wish list, and we're going to have people bring things, and we're going to build the bags together. It's going to be
Fantastic.
a whole community thing. And that's going to be at Moran K in NoHo.
What's it like being able to recognize that the things in which you've done for yourself, now you're passing on your love, support, and help to other people? What is that like for you?
Honestly, it's very fulfilling, but in a way it's also healing. Like, helping others also helps you, you know? And I believe that whatever we give, we're going to receive back in abundance. So I always give love and help and care. Yeah.
Wow. So you've partnered with other nonprofits like Unique Movers
Yes.
to expand your mission. What do these collaborations, teach you about the power of community?
The power of community is something that I have really especially learned within the last year. And being out here on my own, it's been a completely different life for me. But I think I realized that, there's no one-man island. And it's not, I think I was raised in a way, or like in an environment where it was like shameful to ask for help.
Wow.
So being able to actually like allow myself to choke down my pride a little bit, which I've tried to do so much, to the point where I can just be open and be like, hey, I'm struggling. Hey, like, this is where I'm at right now. Like, can you meet me here and help me? I think a lot of it, though, is really just about clearly communicating. A lot of things are assumed, especially when you're silent, and silence can be mistaken in many different ways. And I was in a place where people took my silence as me being like cold or standoffish, that I didn't want to engage, or that I thought I was like, better than someone or anything. But in reality, it was just how I was protecting myself. And it was the way that I've learned how to keep myself safe. So really opening up to community and allowing myself to be immersed in it has been a beautiful, healing thing. But it has also been really scary, you know?
And most of the time, a lot of people are silenced because of fear. The fear of being judged for the fact that if in the event they're in need of help, and not sure as to what the reaction's going to be.
Yeah.
So in our minds, we believe less is more. The less you know, the better I feel about this situation, even though it really doesn't help us.
Yeah.
So what's the best part about you now that you see about yourself?
I think my capacity to love.
Wow.
I love everyone, no matter what you've done to me, no matter how you've hurt me, and the extent of things that have happened in my life. Learning how to really forgive people that weren't sorry, really. And there's part of me that I don't know if I'll ever be able to not cope with the fact, but come to terms with an understanding of why it happened, or why I was treated that way as a child and in these circumstances by adults. And there's a lot of things that you question, but at the end of the day, it has helped me not turn my heart cold. I think that was something that my mom made a very big point of, was that when these bad things or traumatic things happen to you, you have two choices. You can either let it make you jaded and become like the people who hurt you, or you can use it to make you better and more loving and more understanding.
And we eventually decide that, love is really not a feeling, it's a behavior. And that's part of the healing process of what it takes to be better.
Love is a choice, for
Absolutely.
sure. It is a feeling, but you get to choose every day whether you show up with love or you show up in a different way.
Absolutely agree.
I'm going to piggyback on that question as well. Looking back at your 14-year-old self, if you had to look back, what would you tell yourself, that 14-year-old girl who was bullied, and knowing how much you've accomplished today?
First, I would tell her that I love her and she's amazing and there's nothing wrong with her.
Wow.
And that the reason that all those people were so terrible to you is because they saw something in you before you saw it in yourself. And they knew what you were capable of and what you could accomplish, and they were trying to break you down before you got there. But we got there and we exceeded it, so don't worry, babe. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. Some people aren't mad at you; they're mad it's you.
Yes,
That's
yes,
Yeah.
that's
What it
that's.
is. Take us back to the acting and stuff, because I know that's the best part of you. Tell us more about that part of your life.
Acting?
Dancing.
Sorry.
I'm a guy.
That's
yeah,
your
blame
next,
it on me.
It's
I'm
your
a
next
guy.
passion.
It's a guy.
Oh
Guys
yeah,
say,
no,
yo,
you're
acting,
good. You're
dancing
good.
is
I was like,
He's put it on the universe. That's
Yeah.
next
yes,
year.
Now that
acting
you
is the
mention
next. Hey, I said the next movie is gonna be my life story.
Oh, good. That's good though. Good.
But dancing it's so cool being in a place now where like my dance is actually my income. And like, don't get me wrong, of course, artists, like, we gotta do what we gotta do, but at the end of the day, like, getting paid to do something you love is just like, it's
being
unbeatable.
Seen in a whole,
you know what I'm
you're
saying?
being seen in a whole different light.
Yes, like,
People
it's
see
like
this
you're
different.
truly like feel like you're stepping in your power, like in your purpose.
Yes. Yes.
I
totally understand
love dancing. I really love assisting. That's something I've learned that I have a passion for. And I've been assisting a lot this past month with my mentor, Tia Rivera, her BTB boot camp. So we've been doing that, and I've just been having a great time.
I'll let Eva ask the other.
No.
I was going to ask her, tell me about mentoring other people. What's that like for you? Because I know that's got to be not only a sense of healing, but to know that other people are listening to this strong, brave woman who has overcome and turned her struggles into a gift. And a lot of times people never want to hear the stories of the person who has everything. A lot of people want to hear the stories of people who've endured some sense of pain and turned their struggles into a gift. Tell me what it feels like to be able to talk to people in that regard.
Yeah. I think it was weird for me at first because I did start doing this when I was 17. I started in 2018. So it was kind of weird because I felt like, do I really know what I'm doing? But I just felt like called, like it was the right thing for me to be doing. And I had my main group of kids initially back home in New York, and those kids were like my babies. And I just remembered like, I just wanted what was best for them. I did my best to give them opportunities. I was always there. They could always call me, FaceTime me. Like, I would help diffuse situations if there was things going on with like people at school. Like, it was such a cool feeling to be able to help someone that was in the position that I was in. And now I think it even is a little hard for me sometimes to see myself how other people see me. Because I see myself from the broken aspect into this healed person, but I don't necessarily see the strength and the perseverance, like the power that everyone else sees.
Wow.
So it can be hard for me to hold myself to the same regard that other people do.
People see the glory, but they don't know the story, so to speak. Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a good segue into the next question. So, your nickname, Sunshine, reflects the light that you bring on others. How do you stay motivated?
Honestly, I stay motivated by knowing that what I'm doing is ultimately going to lead me to where I need to be. It's a very scary feeling to kind of just surrender and trust in God and the universe. And it's funny that you say that, because right now I'm in a space where I'm like trying to get myself back on track. Like I'm good in life, but like, you know, mentally sometimes we have seasons, things that happen. And right now I really am trying to figure out what is motivating me or where I'm trying to go. And so many things are happening that's out of my control, that I'm in a space now where I'm like, I feel like I need to do something, but I don't know what that thing is. So the way that I've been keeping myself motivated is just making sure I'm pouring as much love into myself, and I'm taking care of myself and doing the things that I need to do in order to be prepared for whatever comes next.
Wow, that's powerful.
Thank you.
For me, I can. I'm making.
Hey,
when you're
we
a
got
co-host,
another
you
one.
gotta make sure you got it just right. We have two ladies in there. It's very important.
Yeah, of course.
When you mentioned, however, about trying to find yourself and then the way in which you were doing it, a lot of times, do you revert back to your journal to see where you've been, to see where you're going? Or is it sometimes that you recognize, you see a certain level of somewhere and you go, maybe perhaps this is where I'd want to be? How do you get to your next level?
I think one thing for me is that I don't compare myself to other people. I'm not in competition with anyone but myself, because I know that I have a completely different path and journey than anyone else. And, you know, what I bring is me. And the way that
Take your time. No, no, this is your time. Don't you worry about a thing. We're okay.
Could you repeat what you said?
Absolutely. I was going to say, how do you find yourself getting to the next level of where you want to be? A lot of times, the biggest competition that I'd ever been in was always with myself. And I recognize by being in competition with me, it's the one thing in life that none of us have ever won. None of us will ever win the competition with ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to find your sense of purpose in your next level, what do you do to help yourself get there?
I look for the people that inspire me or that make me feel like that is something I want to be doing. Where I don't compare, I do get inspired.
There you go.
And one of the people who really does inspire me is my mentor, my big sister, because she is just such a strong, like, powerful businesswoman, and like she knows who she is, and you're not going to tell her otherwise. And that has really, being around that since I'm like 14 years old, has really helped me strengthen my mindset. And she's always talking about what's next, how are we getting there. And something that she encourages a lot is like making SMART goals, or like 3-month plans, a year plan, like that type of thing. So in order for me to stay on track, making short-term goals and making sure I execute them in that time has helped me elevate quicker than I was in the past.
One of the things you mentioned, I'm just following the flow, when you spoke about your mother's strength, and now you said your sister's strength. So now we all know that this is a family of strength all along. This is where this is a part of who you are. And that means a lot.
Yes, the strength goes way further than just bullying.
It's generational.
Sure.
It comes from the top.
Yeah.
Which is good. Tell me the best thing that your mom's done that's ever helped you to become the better person you are. Is there something that she said or something that she's done that you saw in your mom that you go, this right here is what I hope or wish to be in life?
I think one thing about my mom that stood out to me as a child was just how much she sacrificed, not only for, you know, us and our family, but for others as well. She would give her last $5 to a homeless person if that was the case. And like, she had taken people into our home, clothed them, fed them, even when we didn't have the means ourselves, you know. So it just taught me a different level of selflessness. And that is something that I have carried with me, because no matter what they said or done after the fact, she always remained strong in the fact that I don't care because I helped them and they needed it. And whereas an adult, I have now taken my own aspect to not let that get me mistreated or used and run over, but I do still have that same selflessness that she has.
The humility of being able to help others gives you the strength of wanting to do the same as well, which is when you spoke about the homeless aspect of helping other people. But I digress. I'm such a guy.
So there are so many people out there, young folks, who would want to follow your footsteps. What advice do you have for them?
I think peer pressure is stupid, sorry, but don't fall into the standards of what society is telling you to do. And this is something that has actually been driving me crazy because my nephews are going into like middle school now, and they're learning things not from school, like from their teachers, and they're coming home and I'm like, where did you hear that? Like, what is going on? And I think it's very easy to get sucked in with the crowd. But don't be afraid to be the person that walks the other way, because ultimately that's what's going to project you onto a higher path. While everyone else is here and focused on the same things, we're going to keep following what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think just stay true to yourself, be kind, be loving always. There's no greater gift than just being yourself and showing love.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Not only is that the greatest gift, it's recognizing it's okay to be you. Yeah. And a lot of times, as you mentioned earlier, the comparison of us within ourselves or comparing ourselves to someone else to some degree seems to be normal, which is what a lot of us did, on social media. Yeah. And we have to eventually find a way to change that. And you've done just that in your own struggles that you've become, that have now become your strength.
Thank you.
Wow. Incredible. So what else? I mean, Tyrone asked if you talked about acting. Is that something that you see yourself getting into?
It is something I could see myself doing. I have been in a few films as just background or extra, but it hasn't been something I've taken the time to focus on, although I have been more interested in it recently. Especially being in LA and being out here and just want to do it all.
Actress thing going on. Yeah. I can see it. Ironically, although I did mention that in passing as we were talking, and I did read your bio, but the truth of the matter is I went, well, she's more of has the actress aspect of her than a dancer.
Yeah, she?
I saw that.
Thank you.
I did. Yeah, I actually saw
totally.
that.
I see that too.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, is there someone out there that you'd want to work with? You want to dance for J-Lo and
Ariana Grande, Ooh. Chris Brown, and Tate McRae. Tate McRae, I love you. I have loved her before she was popular as a singer. She was on So You Think You Can Dance, the kids competition. Mm-hmm. She's amazing, phenomenal. I've been a fan ever since then. Her music popped off, and now everybody is like, oh my God, Tate. And I'm like,
you already were there.
I want to dance for you because I have been here. Yeah. I've been here,
you're a veteran of Tate.
Exactly.
You're a Tate veteran.
Exactly.
I get it.
Taylor Swift?
Oh, I would love to dance for Taylor Swift, but she has her core group of dancers, and it's very.
You never know, though, right? You gotta
never
put it out
know.
in the universe.
Hey,
make it happen.
We could manifest it.
We'll go. That's no Swiftie. That's Olivia.
I think that's incredible.
So
yes. Gosh. So, I mean, you transitioned from New York to LA. Mm-hmm. I used to live in New York as well.
Oh, really?
I lived in Manhattan. I mean, obviously it's very different, right? Are you able, because I love LA, but it's also very difficult to make friends. So being someone in the industry as well, how do you balance maintaining friendships with your personal?
I think that really comes down to the matter of discernment. Mm-hmm. And that has been something that has helped me a lot, especially being on my own out here within the last year.
How long have you been in LA?
I've been bi-coastal since I was 16.
Okay.
And then I just moved out here in January. Oh. So I'm about to hit my year mark.
1 year.
Yeah.
How is it? Do you like it?
I love it. I love LA. I feel like I've always kind of wanted to be here. Since the first time I came here, I felt a sense of belonging in a way. Is it different? It's hard to not have my family, and it's hard to adjust to the things that are happening and to keep myself stable when everything else around me is crumbling. But overall, I love it, and I know that this is where I'm meant to be.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you going back for the holidays?
Yes, I'm going back for Thanksgiving, and then I'll be back for Christmas. Yeah.
So you're telling us you are going to get into the maze of the airports and get in.
Yes. Yes, I'm
you
going
leave
to
before
be.
the- you're
I'm
gonna
going
leave
to be
before the-
fighting through the crowds on Wednesday morning.
Next week.
Wednesday morning, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's gonna be brutal. The day
It's
before
gonna be-
Thanksgiving.
Actually, maybe not, because a lot of folks are flying out this weekend.
Oh,
So
hopefully.
If you need me to helicopter you in, we can just get you in.
Let me know. Let me know. I just
You'll
might.
need that. You'll need
yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
I mean, besides the project that you have on December 7th, what else is there in the horizon that you're going to be working on for 2025 that you'd want us to be aware of?
I do have some stuff coming up. I'm not necessarily allowed to talk about it, but there are some things to be on the lookout for. January, February, we'll see them. But right now, my other focus is I'm also doing another event for New York when I go back home.
Nice.
So that's going to be on the 21st.
Good.
So those are the two things that I have been focused in on for now, while I'm still working and dancing.
Absolutely.
And also, the thing that's unfortunate with dance work is it's so, like, last minute. Like, it comes and goes. So you really can't predict where you're going to be in a month or two. I could be here now, and I could be on a tour next month.
Is
You know what I'm
dance
saying?
work seasonal? Is it a seasonal thing?
It's not a seasonal thing, but there are, like, busy seasons and slow seasons, for sure. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
we're definitely in the slower season now that we're approaching the holidays. Probably around February, March is when it's going to pick back up.
Have
Gotcha.
you been on tour with like a major artist?
Not yet. That's my next one. That's my next job. Next
Coming.
accomplishment is coming.
There you go.
I just did my my goal last year was to do an award show, and then I booked the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
So I was like,
Nice.
okay, we're here. I just did that 90s show in March. I did a few music videos, like
That's it.
I don't necessarily post as much as I should, and that's something I have to get over because
You mean on social media?
yes, on social media, because that's also something I struggled with a lot with mental health and the bullying, and it's
That's
just
fair.
like it was to a point where it was like consuming me, or there was just too much happening that I couldn't handle, engaging with.
But this isn't just for someone. I mean, this is for all of us to some degree.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We all somehow look for a sense of, for lack of a better word, a sense of validation based
Yes.
upon the hard work in which we've done.
Yes.
And then sometimes we focus on the one person who has something to say about what isn't good. So there's
Yeah.
nothing unreasonable or unusual for you saying that.
Yeah.
And your connection for the next journey of your life may not come from social media. It's going to come from the connections that you make along the way with what you're doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
And I have to tell you the truth, I suffer with social media as well. I mean, I do post consistently, but I don't go into social media and look and see what other
Yeah.
people are doing.
No,
because
that's
as you said previously, you've got a totally different path from everyone else. But I celebrate others,
Yes.
other folks'
Yes,
success.
yes.
But there are days when I take a week off from social media. I don't actually have the app on my phone because I just go in and post. And when I see things, and then I, would make comments, but that's it.
Yeah.
Because I want to protect my own mental well-being, as you said earlier. So we all struggle, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. In my mind, I always say to myself, if you start entertaining the clowns, you'll become a part of the circus. So I just leave it alone.
I love that. I always say, not my circus, not my monkey.
Yeah, it's like,
That one.
Yeah,
like
I
that
don't
one.
do that. So I just make it a point. There are people that will always have something to say about you, and
Yeah.
you've just got to be okay with it. It comes
Yeah.
with the things in which we do here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think honestly, one of my things that I have realized, coming back to another previous question about myself lately, is that I'm kind of afraid of letting myself be like fully seen.
Wow.
And it comes and goes. Like, I have the times where I'm like, I'm here, this is me. You know what I can do, I know what I can do, so like let's do it.
But Olivia, the truth is all of us to some degree are just like that. All of us are that way. Some of us are in fear of taking the next step and hoping to some degree whether it's the right step and what others think. And I've had to always remind myself there's 300 million people in the United States, and if I'm bent out of shape over those people, it's not about them. It's about me.
you.
Wow.
Right.
If you had to have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Yeah, I'm here.
If I had to have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? Marilyn Monroe.
That's a good one.
I don't necessarily know why that came to my head, but her as herself is just someone who is always inspired me, or I've been drawn to. Just like her natural beauty and the way she carried herself. She was
unapologetic.
Very unapologetic, and she was also a very classy woman.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a good
Makes
one.
sense. That's good.
Wow. Yeah. Olivia, your story has been, it's truly inspiring for so many others, not just for young folks, but for everyone in the world. And thank you so much for coming and talking with us today. Tyrone, this has been such a wonderful episode to have.
Absolutely. She's available. We'll make sure we see her again.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course. Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this amazing episode with Olivia. Please make sure you watch us on the Discovery Pod with Ease YouTube channel, or you can listen to us on your favorite podcast. Roger Neal, thank you for producing. Jamie, thank you so much. Again, please make sure you watch us. You never know who's going to stop by next week. Until then, see you soon. Bye, everyone.